Here we go. Hello, TravelingTice Podcast listeners. I'm here with Eric Spears, who is an American lifestyle vlogger, well known for his great enthusiasm and motivation to do the best he can in thrifting, flipping, and also bicycle touring. I became a devout follower after his Japan trip series, where he documented and edited his vlogs on the road on a daily basis for a month, which is impressive. He runs a 14,000 subscriber YouTube channel, and his content varies from bicycle touring to thrifting to van life and a whole lot more. Recently, he also paid off $66,000 in student debt and is completely debt-free. Congratulations, Eric, and welcome to the TravelingTice Podcast.
Thanks for having me on. Japan was actually more than a month. I daily vlogged like 57 days there on the bike. It was crazy.
Wow,
yeah.
It is definitely impressive because you were like camping wherever you could, and gosh,
it was funny. Cody's idea to do the daily vlogs too. I actually was like, dude, there's no way we can upload daily. Like, it's impossible. But he was the one who had the idea, and I was like, screw it, let's just do it. Let's make that the priority and just do it.
Yeah, that's great. And that kind of like, for me, that was I started to follow you a bit earlier than that, but those series are just so enjoyable and creative. And
Japan's an amazing place. Bicycle tour, it really is. But anyways, thanks for having me on. It's really nice to talk to you in person. We've always talked on Instagram and through the YouTube comments behind the scenes, and it's nice to actually have a face-to-face conversation. Finally.
Exactly.
Even you're in Australia right now. I am in Arizona. I'm in Arizona in the US. So
good. Just for the listeners and the watchers, this is a retake because I forgot to record the first part. So the first, I don't know, like 20 minutes that we've already been talking, we're gonna try to replicate, but it's gonna feel a little bit rehearsed probably. But no problem. We're just gonna.
There's nothing wrong with rehearsing. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with rehearsing.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. And I hope that the second take will come up better, but we'll be all right. So anyways, the first question that I want to ask you is, what has gotten you into bicycle touring in the first place?
It's a great question. Back in like early 2000s, before YouTube was super popular, before Instagram, before Instagram and YouTube even existed, before Bicycle Touring Pro, any of that, wrote a book, any of that, me and my friend in high school, we had just thought of riding our bikes and just what would happen if we kept riding and just kept riding and kept riding. Like, could we actually like incorporate riding and camping and self-sufficiency? Like, is this even possible? Like, is it a thing? And we never really did research on it. We never followed up on it until years and years later, but we had that initial idea in high school. So this is around like 2003, 2004, maybe even 2005, when that all happened. But the first bike tour actually happened much later in 2009. So I can't pinpoint it to like one person or a book. It was just a conversation I was having with one of my good friends who actually I went on a bike tour with for my first bike tour. So
right. So yeah, it was just an idea that always was there every now and then. Because for me, it was sort of the same situation. Because I started with the idea, like I didn't know what bicycle touring was. I didn't know it was a thing, but I just thought,
like you don't even know the definition, like what it's called. You don't.
No. Just think like, just what if we kept riding?
Yeah, just keep riding.
Exactly. Just keep riding, and what would happen? And then for the both of us, looked it up online, right? And then we heard that it was a thing.
Yeah, when I actually had time to plan one during a summer, I was at university. I was in undergraduate in Florida, and I talked to him, and he had summer off. I had summer off. This was in 2008 is we started planning the trip, and we did some research online. But this 2009 is still pre-smartphones, believe it or not. Like, the iPhone hadn't even come out. Well, I think the first iPhone came out maybe in 2008 or 2009.
And did you have one?
But I didn't have one. I didn't have a smartphone.
Right.
I didn't bring a smartphone. He had a Palm Pilot, which was like a smartphone for one of the carriers. It's called Sprint. He had a Palm Pilot that he used, and we were just like a blinking dot on his GPS. I didn't Google anything. We went with a book. We did research online. The website Sheldon Brown had some internet information on touring, bicycle touring, and that's kind of how I learned about the term. I think was through Sheldon Brown, like what kind of bicycles to look for. He bought a book called Bicycle Touring the East Coast, which is very strange that someone even wrote a book called that. And we kind of followed that trail, that map through a lot of the first tour that we did in 2009.
Right. So, so how many bike tours have you done in total?
If you consider a 2-day tour, I think that makes it 4. I have not done it a whole lot. I'm not a professional at it. It's just something that I enjoyed doing that I found out kind of by chance. It's a great way to travel. And 2009 was that tour was from Florida to New Jersey with my friend Kelsey. I did it on a big budget. It was like 1,200 miles, which is what in kilometers? Like 1,900 kilometers or something like that. Yeah, something like 1,900 kilometers over 21 days and a couple hitchhikes. He did a trailer. I did panniers, and his trailer broke twice, and I had to get welded. So we hitchhiked a couple of times to get to the next town. So that probably cuts off some miles, whatever. But that was tour number 1. Tour number 2 was a weekend trip from where I was going to school to my dad's house. That was about 376 kilometers, just a couple, I think 2 days, 2 nights, 3-day ride or something. And just on a mountain bike, like not even a touring bike. I threw a bike rack on a mountain bike. It had knobby tires on it. Didn't even have flat tires. And I rode that one. 2015 was my 3rd bike tour and my longest bike tour, which ended up being a lot of 2015. It ended up being like semi-political because of the whole campaigning during 2015. I started in Florida. I went to Texas, up to Colorado, back down to Texas, and then to Arizona, and then flew to Thailand, flew back to Arizona. No, flew to Thailand, flew back to Arizona, then flew to New Mexico, and I think I worked for like 2 months, and then rode back to California. It was a really long extended tour, but I think in total it was over like 8,000 kilometers, over 5,000 miles. I didn't log all the miles, and I did vlog a lot of that, but just a lot of it's not been edited. I have it on hard drive. I think I edited like 30 or 40 videos of that and put some of that up. But the most popular cycling trip was in 2017 with Cody. And I actually rode with Cody on the 2015 trip too. I rode with probably like 5 different people during the 2015 trip, maybe 6. Just some people you meet on the road, you ride with them for a couple days and then they go a different way. You go a different way. I flew a guy in and rode with him for one of the legs. Started with a guy, dropped him off in Colorado, met up with Cody in Texas. So it was just a lot of chopped up, but eventually it was Florida to San Diego over many months. But in 2017, 2017 was my most recent and my 4th bicycle tour. And that was with Cody I think I was by myself for maybe 3 days, maybe 4. And then Cody came and we rode together for like 50 something days. And we did the daily video uploading while we were touring, which was insane. If anyone who's been on a bicycle tour knows like how much time you spend in the saddle, you can't edit a video in the saddle. You can't film like ride by shots in the saddle. You have to stop to like do all these things. So it just takes so much more time. You have to find Wi-Fi at night, and it added a whole different element to the tour.
And also you didn't sleep in a hotel once, right?
No, when I was with Cody, I didn't. I was with my girlfriend, who became my fiance, who is now my wife. We stayed in hotels for like 10 days before Cody got there, and then I had my bike sitting at the airport in storage. And then as soon as she left, it was me with the bike, and yeah, no hotels. We don't do the hotels like you do, man. we sleep, we
Oh
sleep on the side.
God.
We sleep on the side of the road. We don't got that money for Airbnbs.
Oh right, yeah. For me that's something that when I like maybe it's the easy way, like just I
I
just
mean,
like the
it's
Airbnb. I just edit my
Airbnbs
videos
are nice. It's nice. It's a luxury for sure. But if you wanted to cut your
yeah.
costs down to like $10 a day, you have to really sleep on the side of the
Oh
road
yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah, and especially in Japan because that's like expensive.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think the cheapest hotel that me and Rachel stayed at was like, I don't know, like maybe 120, 150
Oh my
bucks.
God.
So
Yeah, that's pretty. So you're like by doing those videos and sleeping wherever there was place for you to sleep shows that it is possible, and I think that it's a really good example for other people that want
yeah,
to.
I mean, you couldn't do it as easily in the U.S. just because of the vast spaces between cities that have good Wi-Fi. Japan's very dense with like technology, so you don't have to go that far to get to something that has Wi-Fi or a 7-Eleven or whatever. Like I think eventually we figured out we could upload at 7-Elevens using their public Wi-Fi, and a lot of their technology is so advanced. We would sleep in a park, and the park would have Wi-Fi, so we could just like set up the tent. We could set up the tent. We'd have like, I think one place we stayed at had like 100 megabytes per second flying
No way.
internet, and we just sat there and edited, uploaded. Some of the parks have it. It's amazing.
That's another reason to go there. I've never been, but I've just also after
Yeah.
watching it, I'd love to. I'd love to go there definitely. Um,
Yeah.
let's go back to your first bike tour, and this is what I want to ask you because my first bike tour was kind of a failure, and I learned a lot from it. Was there any lessons that you learned from that bike tour?
Yes. Your first bike tour was a failure. Cody's first bike tour was a failure. It seems that most people's first bike tours are a failure because either they don't go with somebody else that can kind of push you to keep going. Because if you're uncomfortable by yourself, a lot of times you're just gonna it's easier to give up. But if you're uncomfortable with another person, like you can kind of support each other, like, hey, we're gonna keep going. Because your first bike tour, man, you're like, you don't get good sleep for like a week or two. You don't sleep well. You have to push through all of that. You have to push through that and get your body's adjusting to the calorie burning, the calorie intake. You're adjusting to being in the sun all day. You're adjusting to sleeping outside. Like all these adjustments are happening. And if you don't have somebody there, or if you're not like mentally prepared for these adjustments, you're going to just give up easily by yourself. But if you're with somebody else, sometimes it can help push you. And if you're in it together, like, dude, we're not giving up. We're going to keep going. Like having that support definitely helps. But you also don't need a lot of money. Like a lot of people think you need like a $1,200 Surly long haul trucker or or a nice Scorpion recumbent or something crazy to ride. You don't need that. My first tour which was a successful tour. Like I had a great time. Maybe the first 2 weeks were complete painful hell of sleeping and mosquitoes. It was hot because we left in June. We were in Florida in June. We were riding through Florida. It was hot. We didn't even time it with the seasons. We didn't think about any of that. We just did it.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a $40 Craigslist bike from the 80s. It was a Fuji Del Rey. It had a rear rack on it, like a $5 rear rack or something cheap. I just clamped things on it with like hardware and zip ties. I put a front rack on it, which was just a rear rack spun around. So it was just a rear rack put on the rear and a rear rack put on the front. And then with some like zip ties and hardware, I just made it work. And just some crappy eBay panniers that I bought from an auction. And it was just an old bike. Maybe the whole bike I had like $100 into and was enough to go. Like and I had nothing to compare it to. So it was just like, okay. And he rode a road bike. He rode a bike that had, I don't know, road bike qualities. Like the geometry wasn't for touring.
No, it was made for this type stuff.
It was made for like road bike riding in the 90s. It was an old bike. Everything had down tube shifters. We didn't have no bar end shifters. It's like old stuff. And we didn't even have I didn't even have a smartphone. It's like
Wow.
You
All
don't
these
need all
things
these.
we take for granted. Yeah, all these things we take
You
for granted
don't
now,
need a
right?
smart. You can ride with a paper map. You don't need to have all these things to be perfect. You kind of just gotta figure it out on the way. So
Exactly.
don't let money paralyze you. Don't let like your gear hold you back. I don't know. That's
Or
what I
that
really learned.
you think you need a certain thing before you can have fun. Like that doesn't work.
Yeah.
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 Good. That's good stuff, man. So we talked about your tour through America because before, we were talking about this before, but since I pressed the record button, we did. But you found a Trump flag on the side of the road.
Yeah, it was like so here when we have elections, people put like signs out in the front of your yard. It's just like two pieces of metal and then like a piece of polyvinyl or plastic that holds it together. And I found this, like, it was crumpled up on the side of the road. It was like this crumpled ball. It was red, white, and blue. And I picked it up and I just saw it. And I was like, man, what the heck? Like somebody just chucked this on the side of the road. It's a piece of trash. And I thought about a social experiment, a little experiment, was it like turn it into a flag and put it on the back of my bike and ride with it. And it went through a lot of destruction with the wind. I had to like tape it to like fix it, but it was interesting because it was like a conversation starter, and it was a very heated political year. It was a crazy political year for my country. So having that just like added a whole nother aspect to the tour, because people would stop and talk to us about the election, and then people would actually like give me money. Some people would like honk at me and give me the finger. Some people would honk at me and give me a thumbs up. Like it was just a whole different like aspect of the tour. But it was totally unintentional. Yeah, it just happened, and I just thought it was kind of funny and kind of went with it as just like a social experiment.
Yeah, right. What was the worst experience that you had? Like, was there someone that was like really angry with you at some point?
There's somebody said just like F you, F Trump or something, middle finger, and then they just drove off. But that was it. Most people were receptive, but I was going through most of the South, which is more conservative part of the country. So,
right.
yeah.
Interesting. Funny that you see, how it's playing in the people's mind. You get to know someone personal instead of the whole big thing. Maybe that's
the guy I was riding with thought I was going to get shot. He's like, dude, that's such a bad idea. Like, do not do that. He thought he was going to get shot for riding with me, but it was just totally like if someone's going to shoot me over that would be so stupid. I don't know. I don't think people are that stupid. Maybe that's my fault, but
well, he didn't get shot, so I think
it worked out, right?
It worked out. So, the next bike tour with Cody in Japan, we talked a little briefly about that. But yeah, how was that experience for you? Like, how did that, let you grow?
It changed me as a person. It completely changed me as a person. I never ever thought about ever traveling to Japan. It never interested me. Usually people that go to Japan are like interested in the culture. They like anime and manga. They study the language. They're just really into the culture, the girls, or something about it. And I really wasn't. I never had any interest in going there. But since my girlfriend, who eventually became my fiance in Japan, I proposed to her, and then my wife, when I got back here, she said it was awesome. She wanted me to go with her there. So I went, and I was like, well, they give you a 90-day visa. I'm going to bring my bicycle. I'm going to have some fun with it. And then I just messaged Cody, and I was like, yo, you want a bicycle in Japan? It's kind of close to Australia. He's like, sure, man, let's do it. But yeah, the culture is completely different than anything, I guess, Anglo-Saxon, like whatever white culture, European culture, American culture. Like we all kind of have overlap.
Oh yeah. Even though now I'm in Australia, other side of the planet, these people basically live the same lives.
Yeah, there's still overlap. Like we like cheese, we like beer, whatever. Like some of the foods overlap. Some things are very, very different, but a lot of things overlap. And just Japan was just like a complete different place. Just the food's so different. obviously the language. They're very proud and nationalistic, I guess. They're very proud of their language, proud of their people, and like they won't speak to me in English regardless of if I speak English or not. Like they'll just speak to you in Japanese, like they expect you to understand it.
Right.
They won't even try to speak to you in English. It's funny. Just hand you food and talk to you in Japanese, point at your bicycle, and just keep going. It's great.
Right. Cool.
If I were
How did
if I were to
that? Yeah.
if I were to recommend anyone to go to a foreign country that doesn't speak English as their first tour, I would say Japan or Taiwan probably would be like very safe, and like you're guaranteed to have a great experience there because it's they're such safe country. I mean, I've never been to Taiwan, but I know a lot of it's kind of similar, and I know Bicycle Touring Pro always says Taiwan was an amazing experience. But I would say Japan just because it's bigger than Taiwan. There's different like parts of Japan that have different climates and completely different cultures within their own country, different festivals, and just it's great. I could go back there and explore even more. Like it would never get old, and it's so safe. You could just sleep anywhere, and like people, they're not going to take your bike. I didn't have a bike lock there. Me and Cody would leave our bikes and just go explore the cities and come back, and they wouldn't be touched.
And it would be fun. Wow.
Yeah, there's such a trust. It's a trusting culture. They put value on honor and trust and not stealing things. Like it's really admirable, actually.
Yeah. They look at thieves like it's a bad, like really bad thing.
Yeah, it's like ingrained in the culture. It's great that they do that. Like,
cool. Yeah, that's awesome. And that's the question that I wanted to ask after this, like, because when you toured in Japan and afterwards you also went to Thailand for a little bit, followed your vlogs there as well. How did that change your view on your home country? Is there anything that changed that up?
I was like, man, if I left my bicycle outside someplace over a 24-hour period, and it would most likely it's going to get stolen. Depending where you are, if you're in like a small town where everybody knows everybody, it's a little bit safer. But it gave me an appreciation for speaking English, because it's just like you go into a place and nobody speaks English, and you're like using sign language and pointing at things, and I loved the ability to understand and speak English when I got back here, and just how lucky we are to live in a country that speaks English. And if we don't understand something, we can just Google it. I mean, Japan's an amazing country too, but just the English barrier was something that was like, man, it was nice to come back.
Right. Yeah.
I totally took it for granted.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Like for me, English is second nature to me, and I've had very rarely the occasion, even in Europe. Like if you go to Holland, Dutch is the most useless language because everybody in Holland will speak English to you. Fine, with that out there, and pretty much all of Western Europe. I only had a little bit of trouble in Eastern Europe, but for the rest, like people. Yeah. And even in Japan, like, they don't speak English, but still they can, like have fun with you, or, you get.
Oh, yeah. And the thing is like they study English in school, but I don't know if it's like they don't want to make mistakes. So a lot of them don't want to speak to you in English, or they're embarrassed or whatever. Like they like, most of them would not speak English hardly at all.
Right. And did you
learn? I was still invited into people. I learned some words. Yeah, we do definitely learn some words like good morning, good afternoon, good evening, like hot, cold, some of the foods, mosquito, because we got like mosquito bites like all over us, things like that. Like, so you pick it up by just somehow talking to people, and I don't know, people had invited us into their houses and stuff too, which was still pretty cool.
Oh yeah, that's amazing.
It's a very welcoming culture. It really is cool. Totally.
Right. All right. So what do you miss most when you're on a bike tour?
What do I miss most when I'm on a bike tour from home, or what do I miss when I'm not bike touring? What do you
No,
mean?
when you're on a tour, um, like when you were just bicycle touring in general, like is there anything that you missed or that
I
you
mean,
oh
I miss my family. I would say,
mm,
like, I don't get to see my mom, my grandma, my brothers when I'm there. I miss Rachel when I'm not with her. So I would just say the people. I miss
right?
the people back home, the family, the friends.
No things like anything.
No, nah, things. I mean, you could say a bed, but I sleep fine on the floor. So, like,
Yeah, similar.
maybe a
Yeah.
shower. Showers are nice, but you still seem to like come upon showers when you're touring. Maybe not. You don't have the luxury for hot water all the time. Hot water? Yeah. Well, so we'll go with hot water.
Right. Okay. Interesting. Good one. And then on the other hand, what is the main highlight for you on every bike tour? What is the thing that comes back to mind each time?
Every
I think
time I
this is
tour,
why I do it. Right. Yeah.
yeah. So every time I tour, I don't know if this is the same with everybody. I know it's with me. I know it's with Cody. And it's probably the same with you. But you get this like clarity. You get this like body detox. You get this feeling
Lenses.
of inner. You get this like cleanse, feeling of inner peace. Like you don't worry about stupid things that you worry about when you're not on a bike tour. You worry about like riding, enjoying, you worry about eating. Well, mostly you just worry about like food, water, and shelter, but like you just it's like a way peaceful. It's like it's a lot more spiritual for me. Um I just like all of that I just look forward to. It's great. It really is.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. It's just that your life becomes, for me at least, your life becomes so simple because you
It
only have to
is.
the three things that actually at home you wouldn't worry about. So you start worrying about other things. That's what I feel.
Yeah, it's a form of like minimalism, I guess, that
Yeah, yeah,
just you don't worry about stupid things. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's good. Yeah, and it's the freedom as well, right? It's just that you can just total freedom, no
Yeah,
responsibilities.
you could go down that road, you can go down that road. It's like you don't have
Just
to
do it.
show up for work in the morning. Yeah, you don't have to show up at
Oh,
work at seven
exactly.
o'clock or anything. It's like you can sleep in, you can get up early and ride and catch the sunrise. You can keep riding and enjoy the moon. Have you ever done moon rides, like night rides, like after
Every
the sun?
now and then, but I've done a few, but mostly it was or cloudy or raining during the nights. What only thing I remember, but not really like a beautiful night,
Yeah,
clear
there's just been some nights
as
where
that.
I was riding. I just want to keep riding, and it's just the sun or the moon, the stars, and just it was just a crazy feeling of like peace and just enjoyment.
Awesome. So yeah, that's really good to hear. So let's move on to another topic because you recently worked your way out of a huge debt, $66,000. Because for me, like I've never been in debt, and
Yeah, you're like, what is
like,
that?
what does it feel like? Yeah, yeah. I mean, I know what it is. I know what it is, but I've like, what does that feel like? And now that you're free from it, like, what does that feel like, basically?
So debt is a very American thing. I think because we run on a lot of credit and loans, and that's a way that people make money is off of lending people money. So we don't have a free school system here, so you either have to get scholarships, which I did get some scholarships, and then pay out of pocket, which most people do that if they have wealthy parents or something. I wasn't fortunate enough to have parents that could pay for my school, so I had to take out government loans, government backed loans. So I took out,
Hmm.
um, I think, I think I took out like 64 or 63,000, but with the interest and everything, it like brought it up to like 69, and then after all my little payments, it brought it to like 66 or 67 for 7 years of school, which isn't bad considering I have a degree. I have a piece of paper that is worth about 90,000 euros average salary per year. So it's a pretty powerful degree earning
Hmm.
potential wise. But when you graduate, you're just like, crap, like I have to pay all this money back. But some people go into debt for things like for cars and computers. I actually went into debt for school, so it's actually kind of like more of like a responsible debt, you could say. So, and then there's always this like, I have to like you don't think about the money because it's like you never touched it. It kind of just went from the government to your school. You never had to like work for it or anything. So it's kind of like funny money. But when you actually log in and you see it, you're like, crap, man, I got to pay this back. It's going to suck. And the slower you pay it back, actually, the more you end up paying because of the whole way that the interest works. So if I keep doing, if I do keep doing minimum payments, I might end up paying like 100 or 110,000 over 5 or 10 years. And then I have to think about having that debt over those years. But I was just like, screw it. I'm just going to work. I'm just going to start selling stuff. I'm just going to like pay almost everything towards it. I drive crappy cars. I don't know. I don't go shopping for fun and out drinking. I just like save my money and just like throw it towards the debt. And now that it's gone, it feels amazing. I don't know if you saw my Instagram post, but it went crazy. Like I had like 1,300 or like 1,400 likes on a post, and
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, whoa. I posted one about the debt's paid off, and it's just like an amazing accomplishment to the world. And yeah, the Instagram post went pretty crazy.
Cool. So yeah, it's you know what you're saying, you know, like being in debt, you owe someone money, and I think it takes away the freedom because like that's
absolutely. It says it in the Bible that the borrower is slave to the lender, and it is absolutely true.
Right. Because I've read that book as well. I think it's from
the Bible.
No. I mean the book in which they talk about this from what's his name?
I'm sure yeah, I mean, Dave Ramsey talks about it. I'm sure a lot of people, but that's initially like where it came from was.
Right.
Maybe Proverbs. I'm not quite sure, but it's in there.
Right. That's good. That's a good lesson. So should I get? I'm probably not going to get into debt.
Yeah, don't get into debt.
Don't do it.
Don't get into debt if you could do anything.
Yeah. And your videos have kind of showed that, and you are very open about that, right? On your videos, you're open.
In my culture, I mean, you've been here, but did you actually like when you traveled here? Did you stay with like American people, or did you just like see them in the streets and like talk to them?
No, I was with my parents, and we were basically just playing tourists, and we're going to tourist destinations. So I didn't really talk to Americans about that topic.
Like an average American person, yeah. Like an average American person has a payment to their house because their house is paid in loans and not cash. A payment to their car because their car is paid in loans and not cash. So they borrow money for their house, they borrow money for their car, they borrow money for school. So you'll probably have to be, if you went to school, you probably have to be paying that. And some people borrow money to buy things. So like computers and clothing and, so that's like a very, very prominent, like average or most American kind of thing is at least have one, two, if not all four of those types of debts. And we don't like to talk about it either. Like nobody likes to talk about if their house is paid. Well, if their house is paid off or like how much debt you have, like it's not really a thing that it's kind of a taboo subject. People don't like to talk about it. And that's the way my parents were growing up is they didn't really talk to me much about money. And it's something that I am not afraid to talk about. Right. I don't think people should really be afraid.
Yeah.
I don't think people should be afraid to talk about it because it is like a big problem.
Right. Yeah. And do you get any like negative comments from people on your
Not
videos
really.
when
No.
you talk about it?
No. I mean, sometimes I'll like ask them in person. Like if I just met somebody, I'll be like, "Oh, is your car paid off or is your house paid off?" And people will be like, "That's kind of weird. Like, why are you asking that? Like, you shouldn't.
Right.
Like, you shouldn't be asking that. Whatever." But I still ask some people that, and that kind of might make it uncomfortable. But I want to do it in like a positive way. Like, "Oh wow, your car's paid off. That's great. Like that's awesome. Oh, it's not paid off. Well, how much interest loan did you get? Like, I'm kind of curious, like what they paid, why they got it, and just kind of want to learn from them without me having to take on debt. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and I think you want to support them. Yeah.
The people that watch, no, I haven't gotten any negative on YouTube or on Instagram or anything about me talking about my debts, because that's mine. But if I ever ask somebody that I'm about theirs, they might get a little offended, depending on the person. But for the most part, it's positive.
Yeah. I mean, in Holland, it's or where I come from, it's sort of the same. I mean, debt is not such a big thing, but you wouldn't ask someone like how much is he making per year.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, it's kind of rude to talk about salaries, and I understand why. Is I think people don't want people to come asking you for money. I think, or to like target you as like a crime or something, maybe. I think that's all I can think of. But I'm pretty open with my finances because I want to help other people be motivated to kind of take good stewardship of their own money and their own finances.
Yeah, because if you don't talk about it, then like you can't work.
Yeah, I'm gonna be when I have kids, I'm gonna be completely open and trying to teach them about like, this is what we did, this is what you should do. It's just creates way less stressful life, because my parents were always stressed out about money, and that's something that I learned by bad example. Like, don't do that. This is how I'm gonna be, and that's I want to lead by good example.
Right. Yeah, that's a good message. Yeah. And a lot of money that you made to pay off the debt was by thrifting, right?
Yeah. I mean, I was working also, but still, I would say like 20, maybe 30% of some of the months would be from the whole thrifting side hustle that actually is what my YouTube channel was about before I started doing bicycle touring videos. But now people are finding the bicycle tour. I throw everything up there now, and it's like, it's whatever.
Well, what's the ratio? How many, like, what's the percentage that like bike touring?
I don't even think there's a metric for that on YouTube, but
because for me, like, I started watching you for the bicycle touring, but I also like the thrifting. It's just interesting.
It's interesting to you, I'm sure, because you're like, man, this could never happen in my country. Like, we don't have that opportunity.
No, it's not really a thing. No, it's definitely not a thing.
Are most of your people who watch your stuff from the US or from Australia, Canada, or from the Netherlands?
Most are from the US. Actually, I think about 30% is US, and the second is UK, and then Netherlands, and then mostly European countries.
Okay, so the people from the US can totally relate to this, but our country is like, we're one of the most consumeristic, wasteful countries in the, if not the worst, in the world. So we buy all these things, and then, oh, a new one came out, let's get rid of the old one and get the new one. Like, we have such big houses, we have to fill with so much stuff, and then eventually, like, the stuff becomes a pain, so you get rid of the stuff. So they get rid of it for so cheap, and there becomes this like really, really good secondhand market, and the thrifting kind of takes advantage of that. I think you can do it really well here, a little bit in Canada, and then Australia is pretty good as well. But from the most part, a couple of viewers from the UK do some boot sale things, but mainly US, Canada, and Australia is where the whole business model kind of works.
Yeah, that's a hurdle for Holland as well, because eBay and those type of websites are just not well known. Like, people don't use websites at all. So we do have a sort of Craigslist type website, but it's mostly home pickups as well. So I don't know if you want if you do any of that.
I do like local sales stuff, or like bigger things, or like bicycles or whatever. But it's harder to. I'm sure you can't really find good deals on stuff in order to make money on it. It'd be harder. It'd be more of you getting rid of something that you paid full price for, probably in Holland, than finding it for cheap and then selling it for expensive. You're probably buying it for expense. You're buying it for expensive. You're selling it for a little bit less, something like that.
Yeah. That's often. I mean, for me, that has been the case. Like, I did buy, like, I wanted, for example, I was totally into photography. I wanted a good lens, like a very good quality. Bought it for like 600, and then I wanted to sell it again because it wasn't good enough, or I don't know. It was a weird thing that I was thinking at the time. But I couldn't sell it for the same price. Just couldn't.
Yeah, impossible.
to the 400. Yeah.
The retail price is almost impossible to hit unless something becomes
Oh
collectible or
no.
classic or low, like not produced anymore. Like the market has to kind of follow. But yeah, it's something I've been doing it here for 12 years. Yeah, about 12 years, and I'm pretty good at it. You can make in my spare time anywhere from maybe 15,000 euros to like 40,000 euros pretty easily in 15, maybe 15 to like 30 would be like pretty easily within my spare time. And then as more time I would want to put into it, it can make more
Right.
and more.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And how do you have any tips for people that want to get started? Because right now I'm in Australia and I might want to even like pick it up. Like, what
Make sure you
total newbie? Yeah.
the number one tip is just like learning how to use eBay. So sell stuff around you that you have that you don't want anymore, to like kind of learn how the platform works. Like if you have some good clothing that doesn't fit anymore, or I don't know, something like old electronics, like old iPods sell well. So for the people that have things that they don't want anymore, sell those things rather than going to hunt for things. Look for, like, hunt in your own house. Look for
Right.
stuff in the garage or whatever that you can sell on eBay. But I mean, it doesn't necessarily just have to make you money. It's I save money. I don't know if you're familiar with Patagonia. It's like
Oh,
a really
yeah.
it's a really popular brand here. It's pretty popular all over the world. So the jacket like this would cost, new would probably be anywhere from like 89 to like $129. And this, I found it at a thrift store. It was like $6. I paid for it. So
Wow.
I essentially just got something that saved me what, 80, $90, but I can still have the quality of it, because even if I don't sell it, I have it, and I don't have to buy one now.
Yeah, and it's good quality, right? It's not like ruffle or like whole.
No, I mean, it's not terrible. It's got some pilling, and you can definitely tell that it's used, but if I wore it on a bike tour or something, I wouldn't be destroyed if I got oil on it or anything. I would be like, oh, that was $6. Like, it wasn't $106. It was just
No,
$6.
exactly.
So I'm
Yeah.
not as mad. Or if somebody wants something and I got it for cheap, I can just give it to them rather than holding on to it. And I don't know, it's just a good way to like learn the value of things and what's quality versus not quality. Even if you're going to buy it at retail prices, you can like find out what is quality, what is going to retain its value versus something you're going to buy that's going to just drop a lot, like 100% in value. Like nobody wants it after. It's good. It's a fun hobby.
Ah, cool.
Depends how
Yeah,
long
actually,
it depends how long you're going to be in Australia, if you could even get into it, because
I've got a working holiday visa for about a year, so I plan to stay
yeah,
here for a little while. Yeah.
especially if you could link up with Cody, because he's probably like the number one guy in Australia to learn it from.
Yeah. Oh, he's a long way to go to Perth, because right now I'm in Perth, but we're definitely gonna meet up. Like, I see that totally happening, and I think it's gonna be really cool.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Host? Yeah, actually, the host that I'm staying with right now, he's also, like Salvos is pretty big here, and I think it's
Yes.
called Semis and stuff. And he goes to those places a lot, and he's a cyclist. Like he has like the best cycling gear that he picks up for like $5 for like a cycling
wow.
jersey,
Yeah.
$10 for like padded cycling pants. Just it's crazy.
Yeah,
He's
I
really
mean,
good.
you can find padded cycling pants at almost any thrift store in the U.S. that's in like a major city. You can find it. So
Right. Wow.
just
Yeah,
wash it up, and get rid of all that sweat, and then, you know.
Yeah, and most of it is it's pretty clean. I mean, it's not. It's some of it's really used, but of course, you've got stuff that's probably never been worn.
Yeah, and there's a big misconception. People think that everyone donates it because it's broken or because something's wrong with it, and that's not necessarily the case. They can donate it because it doesn't fit anymore. They could donate it because they don't like the style anymore. They could donate it because they have many of them and they're wealthy families. They could donate it because they haven't used it in a while and they want to clear up space. Like, there's many reasons people donate.
Maybe they move out to a different place.
Yeah, they maybe got a smaller house. Like, there's, and in the US, I don't know if this is in Australia, but we get a like a tax incentive for donations too. Like, we can donate it and then we can take it off of our tax liability.
I'm not sure that here. That might be here. I don't know.
So that definitely incentivizes people to like donate things rather than to just try to sell it themselves, which actually takes a lot more work, or just to hold on to it. They're like, okay, I'm going to give it to a charity place. I get a little bit of a tax. It's called a tax write-off. They get a little bit of a tax write-off, and then
right.
they get rid of this stuff. So that's
cool.
Another reason people do it. But yeah, it's great. I have something that I sold. It's actually out in the other room. I got to get rid of that, but it's a great way to get rid of your own things that you no longer are using, knowing how to sell it for the maximum amount.
It's
like economics on like a small scale. It's interesting.
Right. And what's been your biggest haul so far, like your biggest success in it?
Biggest sale, like dollar wise? Dollar wise. I sold a motorcycle for like 4,000 maybe. That might be the biggest. I bought a bike for 1,500, and then I traded it for a bike, and then I sold that bike for 4,000. So,
right, that's not bad. That's good.
But that's like a lot of money to a lot of money. But there's things that I buy for like 25 cents that I've sold for over $100, or things that I bought for 200, sold for 600. So it's like you just have to find the price variance. Have you heard of Canada Goose? Have you heard of that brand, Canada Goose? It's
it's like those big jackets for like winter.
They make that, but it's like a fashion. They're called like fashion technical jackets. They have like a patch, like a red patch here. It's called Canada Goose. But anyways, I recently sold one of those for like $700, and the retail price is $700. And I bought it like an outlet store, like a store. I bought it at a store for like 200, but I was able to still sell it for like almost $700.
Wow.
So certain brands are. It just shows that brand is so premium that people will pay almost the retail for it, even on eBay. So it's crazy.
Wow. Yeah, it's sort of, isn't it like sort of like Apple? You know, like that's why I'm not really an Apple guy, but that's just my personal.
I'm an Apple guy. I have 2 Apple laptops next to me and a ton of Apple products that I bought to resell.
Yeah.
Just they hold their value so well, but I don't pay retail for them. I guarantee you, the computer I'm using right now is a $3,000 computer. I only paid $850 for it. So
wow, that's good. It's not bad. That's the way to do it, man. That's smart. Yeah. So what's your situation?
You won't catch me paying retail for anything. Even my bicycle. Even the bike that I toured on. I think I got that for $500, and retails for like $1,300, and price is like $900. I could sell it for like $800 or $900 pretty easily. So even the bicycle I ride is like I found it at a pawn shop.
Right. It's just going that extra stretch. I think just looking a little bit further beyond what most people go to the easy way and get a retail. And
retail is the easy way. You put a little extra effort into it, you can save yourself some money, make your dollar stretch farther.
Good stuff. All right. So what's your situation now? Like how do you live at the moment?
Current situation, like living situation, I'm renting a room in a house for $500 a month, including electric, internet, water, and I work about 10 minutes away. And I'm doing this until maybe February or March, saving up the money, saving money,
right.
Investing.
So you're working at 9 to 5, aren't you?
Yeah. 9 to 5, pretty much. It's actually a 10 to 7, but 9 to 5 is the term.
So you're working 10 to 7 or 9 to 5. It's the way to call it. But you like right now you have a room, but you used to be living in your van.
Yeah, I stayed in my van for like 3 months before I found.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like tapping internet from Starbucks, like that. Were there any difficult moments in that period?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was in Arizona in July. I was going to bed. It was like 95 degrees outside.
Oh gosh.
So I don't know what that converts to Celsius. It's crazy.
That's about 39, 40-ish, which is pretty hot. Yeah.
95 degrees Fahrenheit to Celsius. I'm gonna get it. 35 degrees Celsius. So yeah, I'm going to bed. It's like 30. It's like 35 degrees Celsius at some times. So I'm trying to figure out how to go to sleep. So yeah, it got difficult at times. But it worked.
Right.
It worked. I figured it out. Put a fan on, strip down to your clothes, put some ice in a container, and just sleep with the ice thing, and it kind of cools you down a little bit.
So you say you're gonna work till March? Like, yeah, what's the future? Like, what do you want to do with it?
So it's a temporary job, so I'm just filling in for somebody until they hire a permanent. But they told me I was supposed to stay here till October, and then they said, can you stay till February? And then I was like, yeah, the pay is good, the work's easy. Arizona is cool. Like I don't know if you know where I'm at, but I'm like by Zion, like close to Zion National Park.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you've been there. So you've probably been to like Horseshoe Bend.
Yeah, exactly.
Antelope Canyon. Like I'm near all of these things. So it's just like a really cool area to explore. So I'm not terribly like upset with the location. Job's easy. I get along with the coworkers, and the pay is excellent. Yeah, since I've been working, I've saved up like I've been investing in stocks, and I think I have my whole in savings is now like 50,000 euros saved up with my stocks and everything. I'm kind of learning about investing and doing all that kind of stuff.
Right. So you're building your wealth, and yeah.
Now that there's no debt.
Yeah, exactly. And what is it we're trying to accomplish in the future? Like, what are you working towards?
I mean, just like anybody, is you work for your freedom. You can buy it. You either buy it by not having to work, being able to spend time with your friends and family, and being able to do what you want when you want it, and not have to worry about asking a boss about it.
That's good. Yeah. The free life.
Yeah, I want to be able to. When I have kids, I want to be able to spend as much time I can with them, and I want to have money to buy a house in cash and have money to make money, so I don't have to spend my time as much to make money.
So yeah, that your money makes you the money, basically.
Yeah, once your money starts making you money, it's pretty fun. Like with the stocks, it's interesting because you can buy a stock, and then that stock makes you money instead of you working. So it's really cool.
Right. Yeah, I've seen some of your Instagram stories that you're hunting for the deals and stuff. Did it get affected by, like, there was a recent crash or something? There was a dip?
Yeah, there was a nice dip. It was kind of scary, but I mean, this is all stuff that I'm looking at the short term. I'm not looking at. I mean, the dip is looking at the short term, and this is things I might be holding on for like 5 or 10 years. You know, it's
right. Yeah.
I can't let it shake me. If I'm afraid to do it, I'm never going to learn how to do it or how to hold it. But yeah, I haven't released like my portfolio publicly to people. I might do that on YouTube. I don't know, because a lot of them have actually gone down. So it's like, I'm going to be up talking, oh, I'm doing investing. And then some of them go down, and it's just not even worth it to talk about. But yeah, it's fun. I'm learning a lot. So
you're learning about it. Exactly. And yeah, that's good. So YouTube wise, is there anything that's coming up?
I don't really plan a lot for YouTube. Really, I just put stuff there where I think people can benefit some value out of it, or to communicate with people. And it's kind of really been on hold since I've been working. It really has. This has like been the most engaging thing that I've done YouTube wise since I've been working. It's been just work. I work hard and I also play hard. So
that's
2019, I might not work much after February or March. I'll probably take a nice vacation. So
bike tours? Any bike tours planned? Or
if my wife lets me, I'll try to make it over to Australia. We'll see. Cody told me he's like I'll be somewhere in Australia riding around on my bicycle. So if you want to come over here, he's still gonna be riding.
Oh yeah.
So I'll fly into whatever's close to him and try to meet up if that's even in the cards. Hopefully, but we'll see.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and you'll be over there too, so I'd have to make an effort to meet up with you.
Oh yeah, well totally. We'll just whenever you're over, I'll be based in Perth for the next. I think I want to stay until like next year around March or something like that, and then I'm probably gonna travel around.
So you're not even gonna be touring. You're gonna be in Perth, just doing like
for a while. Yeah. Well,
really? So you're in fun. You're in money making mode too. You're in fun, trying to build fun.
Sort of. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna get I'm trying to find a job here at the moment, but I'm trying to become a freelance web developer on the side. That's kind of like my side hustle,
Yeah.
and building up my network here. And
I mean, even getting a job will help you build your network, because you'll meet people at work, and those people know people, and they might want some sort of web presence that you can help them with. And
who knows?
you never
right?
know.
Yeah.
Like I've already, from me working, I've learned like other places that I can work because of one job. Like it leads to many things. So it's not.
Oh
like,
yeah, exactly.
People always discredit working, like, but it's not a bad thing, but it's not a good thing long term. I don't want to be doing it for the rest of my life, is working for somebody else. I like working for myself, but doing it short term is not bad. If you have an end in mind, like, it doesn't seem as painful. But if it's just something you're working for to pay these debts that are never ending, and your job just seems like it's going to be forever and it's not fulfilling, then, and that's where it gets dangerous. But if you have like an end point, it's a lot easier to be very, very highly motivated and positive working experience.
Yeah, because most people, like, that's what I sort of, like, looking out at my friends, most people, they work for the weekends. And
yeah, you don't want to do that, because you'll be working for the weekends until you're like, then you're going to be working for your house or your mortgage or for your car or whatever. But I don't work for the weekends.
No, exactly.
I actually stopped drinking. I stopped drinking 2 years ago. I haven't had drink of alcohol. Yeah.
Impressive. How is that? How's it going when you have like a thing or something? Like, how do you do?
When I do what? It like roboted.
Oh, okay. So when you're like together with some people and they say like have a beer, like how do you?
I just let them know. It's all right. I stopped drinking. I'll just have like water or seltzer water or something. I stopped drinking like 2 years ago. So they usually think I stopped because I was like an alcoholic, but it's mostly just to save money and to not take in bad calories, like empty calories. I love beer, but I've become, I guess, more fit since I've stopped drinking, and just it's like more of a challenge now to figure out a way to say no, or to not give in to pressure, or to socialize without it. So it's a little bit more of a different challenge.
It's a challenge. Yeah. Because I've heard that beer is the equivalent of 3 sandwiches that you eat. It's crazy. Like one beer.
Yeah, the calories are pretty empty. So it's been all right. It's been definitely a good choice, I think. I don't know if I'll do it forever, but it's been a good little journey. I definitely wake up and don't feel like crap because I don't drink the night before. Like I actually wake up and I'm not like dead. I'll wake up, but I'll still be able to work out or whatever. Still be able to keep my mind straight. 'Cause sometimes when you drink the night before, the next day you do nothing. Becomes completely unproductive.
Oh yeah. And you're trying to do anything about it, but can't. It's just you feel bad, and you start to feel even worse, and that
doesn't happen anymore.
No, right. Do you have a morning routine or something that you do every morning to get yourself motivated?
No, I don't. I did kind of when I was in the van, but not really in here. I haven't been. It's been election mode, man. I've been just like checking my phone, like looking at the polls and just like watching. I get into the election drama, so I watch all the election stuff.
Are there elections going on in the U.S.?
Mm-hmm. We have a midterm, not a presidential, but it's a congressional election that's kind of important. It's coming up next Tuesday, so I guess my morning routine right now is like it's a bad morning routine. It's not a good one. I just like check my phone and look at the election stuff. But the morning routine on a bicycle tour is better than when I'm working. It's like you cook your breakfast, drink your coffee or whatever. You pack your tent, pack everything up. It becomes kind of like a little morning routine. But yeah, I don't really do that here.
Yeah, I try to when bicycle touring, and I try to do it here too, but it's a bit harder for some reason. But just keep your phone in airplane mode until like 11 o'clock or something like that, because I feel that when I'm checking stuff in the morning, it sort of sets my mood up for the rest of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I wake up and not having to worry about all those things. And for me,
yeah, for me, it's like I go to work and we talk about it. So it's like I'm kind of like I get like talking points, like little conversation starters, whatever, like some news things. So I go to work and talk about it. But yeah, it can be totally destructive if it's something that you're gonna be if you have your whole day to yourself, it could set you up for like bad habits. Absolutely.
Yeah,
but when I'm at work, I'm not on my phone a ton at work. But yeah.
Alrighty.
I've been wanting to do like 25 push-ups in the morning, but I haven't been consistent with that. Wake up, 25 push-ups, drink some water, and
drink water always. Yeah, exactly. Big gulp of water. I mean, I try to do something as well, but it's sometimes you just really don't want to. And when you stop once, you stop. You just keep that habit up, and then set yourself up.
You develop the habit of a bad habit.
Yeah.
So.
Anyways, so do you have anything to say to the audience, like any last message or?
Absolutely. I'll talk to your audience. So,
okay, the
Japan tour is actually on my YouTube as one giant movie. If you guys didn't know that, it's 6.5 hours, 6.75 hours of the daily vlogs, like all in one video. And I've actually got a lot of really good feedback on that from people. They're like, "Oh, this is awesome!" Like, I felt like I was there. So you can watch like pretty much you can get the best Japan bicycle touring experience through that video. There's a lot of the US tour on there, and I post a lot of cool stuff on Instagram. You can see my first tours on Instagram. I got a little story highlight on my Instagram about that. But yeah, go to the gym, work out, bicycle tour. It's all good stuff.
All right, awesome. Yeah, links will be in the description down below. Click the eye, like at the end of the video, you'll see his stuff coming up. Yeah, check it out. I think I really enjoyed all of the bicycle touring videos. They were just well done, creative, and
in watching bicycle touring videos, if you've never been on a bicycle tour, it might motivate you or push you to like the next step of trying some sort of like crazy life-changing adventure.
Like, that's what people said about my videos, and I saw in yours, like whenever you had a hard time, like people could sympathize with that, and they knew that we're not perfect.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, like, yeah. Oh, there's some days where you don't want to wake up, you don't want to go anywhere. The weather's terrible. You're cold. It's wet. It's like, but the thing is, like a year from now, like that experience, like made you so much stronger as a person. So if you experience that again, like you're gonna get through it, and you're gonna get through something crazier, like something worse. It gives you like a little bit of confidence pushing you about something, and then that confidence can translate into something else in your life you don't even know about. So it's cool. It really is.
All right. Awesome. Well, Eric, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. All right. See you later. Goodbye.
Thanks for having me. Bye.